I'm not surprised with the outcome. I thought that they would beat Fulham.
Yeah.
I don't think this is quite the Fulham of last year, and it certainly is a better Tottenham than last year. So it's not surprising that the outcome was that Tottenham are in a good vein of form. They've got good momentum. There's a feel-good factor about the football club. Postecoglou has created a large degree of that, in fact, the lion's share of it. So on they go, Tottenham.
Yeah, I'm going to get to him in a second. Just before I do, did you glance at Sky last night and see Gary O'Neill on Monday Night Football doing his stuff, strutting his stuff in front of the big screen?
What was he up to?
Oh, there's all sorts of plaudits for Gary this morning. Lots of love for him out there, saying he was superb in studio. And I tell you what, he was. Well, very good indeed.
But listen, first of all, he's a very level-headed individual. We've had him in the studio a couple of times when he was at a different stage in his coaching career, and I think he was working up at Liverpool. He's a very decent bloke. He's not caught up with the ego and the perspective that certain managers develop in their careers. And he's at the beginning of his managerial career, and he's done well. He's done well at Bournemouth, which has afforded him an opportunity at Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah.
And he's taken that on. I said at the beginning of the season, and I don't think I should have to apologise or retract for it, on paper, Wolverhampton Wanderers' ambitions seem to be slightly lesser than you would have perceived. If you've taken Lopetegui out and you've replaced him with Gary O'Neill, on paper, people are going to say that dictates a certain level of ambition, right?
Yes, yeah.
The fact that he's gone in there, and I take a lot of credit for it, because obviously he's got one of my former players in there, Sean Derry.
Yeah.
So I believe that the disciplines I've installed in Sean have rubbed off on Gary.
You've helped so many people along the way.
I'd like to think so.
Not least me.
I'd like to help Luke out the door, but that's for different reasons.
So would I. Now, Tottenham did it. And now Ange is in a place that maybe Ange didn't expect to be. He's now taken more points after 9 games than any other new Premier League manager. Tottenham fans out there this morning, by God, what have you got in this man? What could lie ahead this season? Could this be it? I mean, I really do seriously mean this. Is this the time you're going to stay out in front and joust all the way to the end and win the Premier League? You're on 23 points. As I say, this man has taken more points after 9 games than any other new Premier League manager. So it begs the question, what is the ceiling to what they can go on and achieve this season? If you remember, Simon, the interview that you and I had on this show with Ange, we asked him that. Ceiling? What is the ceiling?
Don't like ceilings, don't like floors, don't like any kind of impediments that limit anything you do in life, Jim. You know, from my perspective, it's let's see where it takes us. When I started this off 26, 27 years ago as a manager, I left the bank to become a manager. I can tell you that there was probably plenty of ceilings that were put before me then, and I'm standing here today. And who knows? I don't work that way. For me, it's about trying to get this club to the levels where I believe it deserves to be. It's got unbelievable training facilities, stadium support. It's got all the ingredients you'd ever want for a club to have success. My role within that is to try and manifest that into something more tangible in terms of on field, and give the punters and supporters something to be proud of. So who knows, mate? We'll see whatever the ceiling may exist. Let's see if we can smash through it.
Let's see if we can smash through it. Tottenham fans, you must be loving that kind of chat. Let me know very shortly. We'll get a burst of Simon before we hit the break. But let me know what you think of this. The bottom line question this morning is, and we're going to put it out there, can Tottenham go on and win the Premier League? Are you going to do it? You're leading from the front. Will you stay there and do it? 03717 223344 810 89. Simon, what is the ceiling? Are they well and truly in the hunt?
Well, that depends upon what others do. If we see a decline in Manchester City, and if we see a decline in Arsenal and Liverpool don't pick up their standards from the disappointment of last season and get better and bolder, and Man United continue their decline, then we can have this conversation. If we're talking about people maintaining a certain level, then no, I don't expect Tottenham Hotspur to win the Premier League. And I think that if Tottenham Hotspur were to be in the top 4, which I have priced into my thinking at the beginning of the season, because I am an absolute stalwart for supporting Postecoglou. I think he's a very sensible manager. I think the conversation he talks about, I listened to Tim Sherwood tell me that he got all fed up with having nice dryers at the training ground. This guy tells me about the fact that they've got wonderful training facilities. They've got a stadium that's fit for the best. And it's his job to build a team.
Yeah. His
job, I suspect, to get from Daniel Levy what he needs to get one way or another, hook or by crook. Where they are at this moment in time is it shows you what
We're past the honeymoon period, Simon, aren't we?
Well, yeah.
We are past the honeymoon period. This is more than a moment in time.
Well, yes. I mean,
he's given it. How'd you like that?
Well, yeah, they've got a result against Arsenal. They've got a draw against Arsenal. They've got I would say a slightly fortuitous win against Liverpool. And the rest of the team...
Win's a win, though.
A win's a win, and you ride your luck whenever you can get it. Mm-hmm. And in previous times, we've seen Tottenham being able to get the better of Manchester City under Conte's reign. I still feel that Tottenham have got a lot to do and a long way to go, but what they are is a far better outfit from the footballing side, for the fans, to the media-facing perspective of what's actually going on Tottenham Hotspur.
But no one could have expected this, Simon. 7 months on from Conte's torn face, no one could have expected to be where they're at now. Tottenham fans, wake up. Is this your moment? Are you going to drive towards the title?
I didn't expect Tottenham to be top of the league, but I did expect Tottenham to have the Postecoglou effect, so that there would be something worth looking at, that there would be something that would be discussing. If we were sitting with Tottenham Hotspur in 4th and 5th in the league, we would still be saying, this is a really good turnaround. This is a really good scenario. Put all the things into play, the destruction that Conte left behind him, his observation on the football club, the departure of Harry Kane. All of these things would have been put into equation, baked into the argument there's going to be a problem, and a guy that's not managed at this level before. Now, the reality of it is that Tottenham wasn't built on quicksand. There is a playing squad in there that's capable of performing at a higher level. Conte was a waste of time at the end and was all about himself. The Harry Kane departure has created an opportunity for others to step into the breach and put to bed, because if you're listening, it's radiators and drains. If you're listening every year about the radiator that is Harry Kane and the drain is he wants to leave and he wants to go, it has a debilitating effect on the football club. Now he's not there doing what he does in Bayern Munich is afforded an opportunity for others.
But could anyone have expected this? I mean, I do seriously mean it. I mean, Postecoglou has exploded on the scene here in England. Great. More points after 9 games than any other new manager in the Premier League. So the poor Ange, well done this morning.
So the poor sod can only go backwards now in terms of it.
You see, I don't think so.
No, listen,
I don't think so. I think they could be there or thereabouts.
Well, it's we've had the conversation about the disappointment in the League Cup and the fact that they're out of the League Cup, and certain segments of the Tottenham fan base thought that was an unwise move to play a weakened side in a competition that they could have perhaps won and ended this drought. And Ange Postecoglou addressed that situation. I don't think he addressed it fully, because I think ultimately you could have won that tournament. You could have been in that tournament, and it could be something that you win. But I guess that's because his blueprint from Daniel is, we want to be a top 4 side. Yeah. And the top 4 is where Daniel wants to see them, because competing in the Champions League gives you an opportunity to attract Champions League players, gives you an opportunity to build revenue, and then underneath that, if you're building a decent management structure, then you can win leagues.
Right. But I remember you and I were on when Ange got appointed, and many Tottenham fans joined us that day. Who is this guy? Ange who? Yeah. Who is he? Well, by God, they know who he is now. And I remember many of them saying, look, he came down from Scotland and it's a 2-horse race up there. Nobody really has to do that much to win the Scottish title. One's got to beat the other. Celtic's got to beat Rangers, or the other way around. Yeah, look what he's doing down here. Now, all of a sudden, it might well be fitting that one or two of these Tottenham fans would come on this morning and say, yeah, I was a bit previous about that. Maybe I should say something to Daniel Levy about what I said all those months ago. Don't you think?
Well, maybe. To be fair, that there weren't a huge groundswell of people saying that about Postecoglou.
There was a bunch on this show.
There was names that were being linked to Tottenham that people... And of course, the problem was who was going to appoint him. I think at that particular point, Daniel Levy could have appointed Pep Guardiola, and people, certain segments of the Tottenham fan base would have shouted Levy out, because that's where he was in their regard. Now, he's at a moment in time where he's got some respite from that background noise. Yeah. And the next question guaranteed that's coming is there will become a bump. They will need someone else to get more goals, because Son might get injured. Charleston doesn't score that many goals. And the next question will be is, guaranteed, where's your ambition, Levy? We've got an opportunity. So Daniel will get respite and bask in the reflective glory of being top of the league. I imagine he'll take it with a pinch of salt, as he took the criticism with a pinch of salt. Sure. But right now, Tottenham are in very good nick, and it's quite nice to see.
It is nice
I like
to see.
Tottenham Hotspur.
I agree with you, and I certainly like Ange Postecoglou. There's you and a big Celtic fan. He describes himself as, Jim, stop rubbing it in. We still miss the guy. I bet you do, Ewan. I bet you do.
You've got Brendan back.
Ewan, you were probably one of the many Celtic fans who came on and said, yeah, Tottenham, be grateful for the guy you're about to get. Well, that should be the feeling this morning. Is it going to last, though? Now, we saw what happened with Arsenal. Tottenham's huge rivals, of course, down here in North London. Arsenal went so far, but no further. Are Tottenham going to do it this season? How far can they go? Are we talking about them going to the very end and breasting the tape first and winning this damn thing? Let me know. 03717 223344 81089. And for those who came on, and there were a few who said Levy doesn't know what he's doing. Ange who? Who have we got this time? Maybe you're due an apology to your chairman, are you not? Give us a call. 03717 223344.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.